Hello, my name is Vani and I work at Bright Skills Gothenburg, Sweden. Bright Skills helps companies to accelerate digital transformation using low code. In my today's session, I am going to cover answers of some of the questions which any developer will have while they are trying to switch into OutSystems from their current technology. So let's get it started. In agenda, I have tried to cover the basic introduction of OutSystems and low code, and some obvious questions like what language does OutSystems use? Is it front end, back end? Does it require coding? Is it just a drag and drop? And the final question is OutSystems worth switching? Let's look at the basic introduction of OutSystems. OutSystems is a high performance, low code platform which enables the development and delivery of web and mobile applications. It helps developers by creating the code for them. It does this by visualizing the processes. OutSystems itself built in a coding language .NET, but you don't really need to know about it. The platform generates the code by itself by using best practices. OutSystems have also the capability to integrate with other external systems such as external databases or your own application. Let's look at the short introduction about low code as well. Low code applications are built using a visual development environment with tools like drag and drop models, smart services, components, pre-built connectors. They reduce the need to write the code and significantly increases the speed at which applications can be developed and deployed. Rather than writing thousands of lines of code, complex code and syntaxes, low-code developers drag and drop visual models to create applications with modern user interfaces, integrations, data, and logic. The output is that the organization gets apps much faster in production. A typical low code includes a visual IDE, which gives you the capability to design UI by using the drag and drop models, the workflow, and the data models for an application into a graphical canvas. The second is the connectors to various backend or services. You can easily add connections to data structures, storage, and retrieval. The third capability is the application lifecycle manager, which has been used to deploy the application in various environments. Now let's look at some obvious questions like what language does OutSystems use? Now, as you can see in the picture, that OutSystems has front-end, back-end, database integration, infrastructure capabilities. The front-end code gets converted to JavaScript, HTML, CSS. The back-end code gets converted to C#. Database gets converted to SQL statements. And the integrations depends on what type of it is, gets converted to REST and SOAP calls basically. The next question is OutSystems front end or back end? With OutSystems, you can do both front end and back end. For the front end developers, you can design responsive web pages. You can develop CSS at the screen level or at the module level. You can define themes at the application or module level. And you can also define JavaScript as a global level or as at the screen level. So with the front end, there are much more that you can do, just like a traditional applications. As in back-end capabilities, one can develop processes, timers, business logic. They can write the functions. They can create the databases, the data tables, and for storage and retrieval of the data. They can also define the roles for authentication. Also, they can integrate any external API, REST or SOAP. Also, OutSystem has the capability to talk to other systems like SAP or any other external systems. Let's look at the next slide. Does OutSystems require coding? Now, I would say yes and no. OutSystems can be used by business developers or by professional developers. As a business developer, if you would like to use OutSystems, I would say no. You don't require coding. You can pretty much cover your basic use cases with the basic capabilities of OutSystems. But if you are a professional developer and your solution demands complex functionalities, you may need to write the custom code. And according to my experience, it is very much important to know programming fundamentals to work with any platform. So if one can accommodate the perception that for initial phase of application, it doesn't require coding, but to scale it or to extend it to achieve complex solutions, yes, it requires coding. And in order to use the OutSystems fully, like leveraging the capability of complete platform, I would suggest that a developer should know the basic fundamentals programming languages like SQL, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and how to use it to achieve complex behavior. And if your application requires very specific behavior, the OutSystems also allows you to write the custom code in your native language like .NET uh, or Java, and you can just build a component and plug and play with your OutSystem applications. Let's go to the next slide. Is OutSystem just a drag and drop? Now, as a developer, you might have a lot of questions like, will I be enjoying switching to OutSystems by just using drag and drop component? This statement is extremely wrong. OutSystem is much more than a drag and drop. Drag and drop is a trait of any low-code platform, which actually helps developers to create the basic solutions pretty much faster. So developers can spend their other time in the innovating the other complex solutions. So any basic use cases will be covered by the drag and drop pre-built connectors of OutSystems. OutSystems is a rapid application development platform, and drag and drop, like I said, is the one of the trait of low-code platform. But you can do much more with OutSystems. You can write custom code, build a component, and you can also integrate JavaScript, CSS, SQL, like I mentioned before. So the final and important question is OutSystems worth switching? What would be the future of OutSystems? In order to understand this, let's understand what will be the future of low-code first. According to Gartner, by 2025, the spending on low-code development technologies is expected to grow in billions. By 2025, 70% of new applications developed by enterprises will be in low-code technologies. More than 5 million developers will be added to the global workforce in the next 5 years. So the future of low-code really looks brighter. And as you can see in the next slide, OutSystem has been customers' choice in terms of overall rating and user adoption parameters. OutSystems has become a leader in low-code and modern app development space, as stated by Gartner and Forrester. It has been around for more than 2 decades, even before the term low-code was discovered. And also OutSystem has received gold medal recently in 2022 Software Reviews 2022 low-code. So from my personal OutSystems journey and from these facts, I would say that OutSystem is worth switching. I have been working into .NET for 10 years, and after 10 years of my .NET career, I decided to move on with OutSystems. And I have experienced the speed of this platform by analyzing how 4 or 5 days of task is getting done in 4 or 5 hours. Why one would like to go back to the traditional coding days. I hope this session clears out some of the doubts about OutSystems and helps someone to start their OutSystems journey. Thank you for listening.